A fault is a weakness, a defect, a fracture. Faults divide, tear, and consume. Here in the city of Chester's Chasm, we struggle to maintain that precarious balance over the precipice in the earth, in our lives, and in our hearts. This story is about 4 teenagers with faults of their own.
The fault between my faith and freedom.
The fault between my family and identity.
The fault between my life and death.
The fault between my guilt and revenge.
As these fractures grow, we stand at the edge and ask, what must we sacrifice to sate the void's endless hunger? Is it possible that the answer lies within all our faults? Greetings, and welcome to All Our Faults, a Monster Hearts 2 actual play podcast from the Tabletop Talespinners network. I am your MC and hostess, Mistress Winter. Honest question. How many of you out there are feeling tired and overwhelmed by life at this moment? I know I am. A hailstorm of problems and tasks at work, a massive backlog of chores at home, and that's not to mention we're watching safe places for trans people diminish amidst a world tearing itself apart, heedless of the multitudes of lives that are being ruined. Many times I have heard the advice, focus only on what you can control in stressful times like this. While I appreciate the sentiment and understand what they're trying to say, I've always hated it. If I could block out all of the maybes and what-ifs, I really would. But as little as I've actively directed my life in the past, I find I have the need to plan for the future and be prepared for what may come. That means worrying about a lot of what's happening right now, because it'll dictate where my family can live safely, what work I'll pursue, and what events might impact the world that I live in. It's a lot, I know, and yes, I get stuck sometimes. But I believe enough in myself to be ready and adaptable for whatever is coming. I hope you can find that faith in yourself as well. The latter half of the week has been eventful for our teens. Solomon mended bridges with Elmira while she tended to his wounds. Saline tried to calm an increasingly panicked Marina, but only succeeded in isolating her further. All the while, Michael answered a summons to his maker, only to find that it was Barbara giving the orders. All the while, we gleaned key parts of Crispin's conversation with Dr. Miller, aka War, on what is truly happening in the dark corners of Chester's Chasm. There are no warnings for this episode. Shoutouts and thank yous after the show. Please enjoy. Chapter 31. When Crispin Met Saline. Crispin, I believe you were going to pick up Saline in the Hummer, this very pristine, expensive-looking vehicle pulling up outside Powerline Tattoo.
The ladies love the Hummer.
Carson gives it a very hard stare. Are you sure you want to go with him?
Saline will look at Carson, look at the Hummer, look back at Carson and just go, "No, but I know that I need to. We'll be okay."
You want Willow to go with you? She can take her bat.
I love them so much. I'll shake my head again and just, no, I'll call or text if I need anything, I promise. But he won't hurt me physically. I'll be okay.
Okay. He'll still escort you to the door, leaning on his bat as he stands in the doorway and stares Crispin down until you're in the vehicle and take off toward Vid del Dia. It's Saturday afternoon, so Vid del Dia's very small parking lot is jam-packed, and you have to go across to the bigger, more general parking to find a space to park, especially such a big vehicle. Heading into the restaurant itself, it is very busy. The few servers that they have are harried, jumping from table to table to serve the lunch crowd. But the smells of the Latino-African fusion food, just this mix of spicy herbs and sauces, various foods being cooked back in the kitchen, is filling the atmosphere. You have to wait for a few minutes before a table is available, even for just 2 people. But when it comes open, you are escorted to a small 2-seat table, left with menus.
Celine will immediately start looking through the menu. She has been awkward this whole time, not really knowing what to say to Crispin. And so her focus is to pick something that she can eat as quickly as possible before the actual conversation starts.
On the flip side of that, Crispin, who eats here all the time, already knows what he wants, so he doesn't bother with the menu. He will gaze at Saline from across the table. He senses the awkwardness and resists the urge to revel in it, to enjoy it, because there is a part of him that does not want to see Saline suffering and sad and struggling the way she always seems to. So he will just kind of pleasantly watch her for a minute while she peruses the menu and take in her casual appearance for what feels like the first time in weeks. Things have been so tense and fraught. So I think I owe you an apology. I reacted poorly the last time we spoke, and I said some things that I didn't mean.
Her head will snap up and she'll just go, "Oh, you mean like calling me a monster?"
Specifically, yeah, that's a big one. You took me by surprise, Saline, and surprises are never good in my experience. And I'm sorry. I've taken some time to reflect. And whatever you and Michael are, you've been those things the entire time we've known each other, right?
How long have we known Michael?
Since before the accident, right?
Yeah. You've all gone to middle and high school. Yeah.
Because the accident was over the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's newly vampire, so.
So in that case, I will say, well, with Michael, it's a little different. His is newer.
Gotcha.
But with me, yeah, I, for lack of a better term, was born this way.
So, in a way, nothing has changed. You are who you have always been. And that is my friend.
Saline flinches at the word friend for multiple reasons. But particularly, the last time that she saw Crispin, he caused a huge fight, and she called him a coward. So she's also sort of feeling guilty.
Yeah, well, multiple things can be true.
But she's going to remember her conversation with Scarlet, and she will gaze at Crispin, who is very different than she has ever known him to be, in a way that she's not sure that she likes, but he's still Crispin. He's still this boy that has always brought her comfort in some ways, and this boy that she has fallen in love with. So she will very slowly say, "Right. Friends. I suppose I owe you an apology as well. I was unkind the last time we saw each other at the party, and I'm sorry. There was a lot going on, and emotions were running high, and I reacted poorly to seeing you with someone else.
Crispin will grin a little bit at that last piece of information. Crispin will take in that last little bit where Saline admits to being jealous, and that feels good. Oh, does that feel good? I think it's the closest Saline has ever come to fully telling him how she feels. And in a time before, he never would have hoped for that to be true. He wouldn't have dared. And now it is extra delicious. So Crispin has nothing to be jealous of, and Saline is jealous. And I think that is a temptation that Crispin just cannot ignore. And so he'll go, I see. Well, I will try to do better in the future of keeping my company to myself. I feel like at this point, a server comes and takes our order, and we have a fun little interruption.
No, Saline literally did not decide anything, so she just points at something random on the menu.
Oh no. Crispin sees that she actually didn't decide, and I think he knows Saline well enough that he would know that what she picked was not good, and so he'll just say, she'll have 32 and I'll take a 51. Thanks.
She will definitely stiffen when you order for her.
He'll catch your eye and just be like, we both know you've never liked spice.
Well, I guess that's true. So you're still seeing Deanna, then?
I think seeing is a strong word, but there's potential there. I've had a lot of other things going on, so it hasn't exactly been a huge priority at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, new car.
Yeah, it's he gets a little bit sheepish here. It's not mine. I get to borrow it every now and then. It's interesting. It feels a little bit like trying to navigate a refrigerator around the hallways. He is trying so hard to make a relatable joke and fails miserably.
Celine, who has not really, she's driven twice, and it was one time it was stealing Michael's car. So she's just sure, yep, totally understand. But she has ridden the bus enough times, and she sees them driving all the time in the city to understand that it's probably similar. And she's just yeah, I can imagine it'd be an adjustment. Who does it belong to? If it's not yours.
Oh, well, it might be the church's, but Dr. Miller's the one who loaned it to me. Or lets me borrow it.
She'll nod again and just, right, yeah, I think Solomon mentioned that the two of you live with Dr. Miller.
Yeah, Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna ask how that is. She's still your therapist? That feels like a conflict of interest.
I don't think so. I think my therapy time has come to a close for now. I'm working on some other things.
Right. That's good, I suppose. What's it like living with Dr. Miller? It's probably nice to be away from your dad and mom.
I don't know. I still worry about my mom. I checked in on her, but, she's sort of unchanging. And it's been a different experience.
I understand the feeling.
Yeah, I bet you do. And it's been a different experience not feeling like a prisoner in my own home. Yeah, it's been a good change, I think. Solomon and I were off to a little bit of a rough start, but I think we've ironed out our differences, or at least started to. We're just very different, and learning to live with new people is always a challenge, so I hear.
When you're not used to it, it can be difficult.
Sure, but you're not exactly at home either right now.
No, I am not. This whole conversation is clearly not offering up more information than is asked.
Interesting.
Except for the one slip up of admitting that she was jealous.
Which I'm sure only made her kind of buckle down. The guy who walked you out, he struggles to find a word. Protective.
Yeah, he and his sister are both pretty protective of me. They're kind of like older siblings to me. They're letting me stay there. I help out around the tattoo shop. They've really come through for me on multiple occasions. So he's just looking out for me. He'd do it to anyone.
Good. It's good to hear that you're safe.
Yeah, safe is a relative term.
What's that mean?
She'll hesitate, and then she'll place her hands in front of her on the table and just, look, Crispin, I want to be honest with you.
But
I'm scared.
Crispin sits back a little bit in his seat. This is the information he has been itching to ask about, but knowing that she is nervous, he doesn't want to spook her. So he will sort of fold his hands in a way that he belatedly recognizes as being lifted from his father's mannerisms. He will sit back and fold his hands in a caricature of calm and control, and he'll just say, I understand. You've always been afraid, to some extent. The day of my vigil, you talked about some danger on the phone when I begged you to meet me at the church, and you wouldn't come. Is this that?
She'll kind of cock her head and just, I did agree to come, and I was going to. I was making my way there, but I was unable to make it. And I want to tell you why. But the last time I revealed something about myself, you called me a monster, and that's just kind of hard for me to get over.
I understand. Can I roll to keep my cool?
Please do.
So that's an 8.
Success with consequences.
We love a consequence in this house.
What is most concerning to Crispin in this moment?
His frustration is that she is being honest, but not in the way he wants. She's being honest that she is scared of him, that she is uncomfortable with him after his outburst at the lighthouse. And all this time, he has wanted her honesty, but not like that. I just want you to tell me what I want to know. Damn it.
In this moment, there are two alternatives, or at least ones that Crispin can see. You could give in to the agitation and frustration of not getting the answers that you want and demand them of her directly, or...
I already don't like what I think you're about to say.
Or you could take the gentler route and try to worm the information out through a new line of questioning, but both alternatives have their risks. You may not get the information the gentle way, but you may also damage the already tenuous relationship by going straight to the source.
Sure. See, in here, I thought you were going to tell me that Crispin is going to try to use Ella as leverage.
I will leave that up to the character.
Which would be the brute force thing, yeah. Yeah.
Crispin doesn't know
that Saline is here to try to mend bridges at Scarlet's behest. So I think he would err on the side of gentle, despite every part of him wanting to grab her by the shoulders and shake it out of her. Because, he's a good person. This is how a normal person would act. He will put his hands in his lap, clench his fists, trying not to betray his frustration more than he may already have. And he will fix Saline with a look of contrition and say, I understand. I have not garnered a lot of trust recently, and you are well within your rights to withhold parts of yourself from me until such a time as I earn that trust back. I simply want to see you safe, and if there's anything I can do to make that happen, then I would. I would use every asset at my disposal to prevent you from being harmed.
I would like to gaze into the abyss to see how genuine he's being.
All right, please do.
Ooh. 10.
Ooh, very nice.
We love to see it.
Crispin, would you care to share?
So, yeah, absolutely. There is definitely a genuine desire there. You can see plainly that he does sincerely wish for your safety at the very least. But there is also an undercurrent of something more. Not something overtly sinister, but certainly a lack of candidness, a carefulness with his words that has not always been his hallmark. He is being sincere, but not entirely forthcoming. In a way, he is mirroring your own cagey behavior.
I want to believe you so badly. And it's not like I think you're lying to me. I just get the feeling that there are other forces in your life that you would sacrifice my safety for. And I don't think you do it on purpose. Because despite everything, deep down I know you're good, Crispin. You've just had a lot of bad happen to you. And a lot of bad people happen to you. And I want to be there for you.
Crispin will look away for a moment as if he is gathering himself. And then he will meet Saline's gaze, not with malice or anger, so much as just disappointment, as he says, yeah, it's not great to feel like your best friend isn't the person you thought you knew.
She'll pull back, almost as if you hit her. She is stunned. Her hands will come off the table. She will stiffen. Truly, it probably would have been better if you'd outright hit her. And she will look back at you. What do you want from me? What do you want me to say? I already apologized for never telling you. But did you honestly expect me that when we became friends to introduce myself as some half-fae creature? You expect me to go around sharing that with everyone?
I don't know, Saline. It's just hard to imagine what it feels like not to have every deep, dark secret about myself flung around the school without my consent. I've had a label, a target on my back since the moment I set foot in that school, and I survived. I don't expect you to have revealed that particular tidbit right away. But look at it from my perspective. The way I found out was watching you destroy what was supposed to be the most important night of my life. And if I'm being honest, by doing that, you saved me. I suppose I should be saying thank you. But also, every moment since then has been an absolute tailspin, and all I have been searching for is an anchor. I was hoping that it could be you.
But I can see that you are not ready.
And that's not a judgment, Saline.
You are amazing, Saline. But I can only expect so much from you. You have your own traumas to deal with.
And I just want to help. All I've ever wanted is to help. And to have someone to help me.
I'm gonna need to roll to keep my cool, I feel like, and see how much of a bitch I'm about to be, if at all.
He deserves it.
7.
Oof, yeah.
How am I supposed to fix this? What does Scarlet want from me? What am I supposed to do with this?
And that is a good first thought that crosses your mind as Scarlet's request echoes in your memory and offers a way to keep your feet anchored here rather than throwing water in Crispin's face and storming out. But it's feeble on its own. But coupled with your irrational love for Crispin, is it enough to take this barrage of blame and guilt and insult? Or do you let Crispin have it?
Saline will sit back again. Her back is rigid against her chair, and she is almost violently tugging at the sleeve of her shirt in order to kind of keep herself grounded in this moment, as she does everything she can to remember that the fate of the world apparently is at stake and has to do with this stupid boy sitting in front of her. And she is going to stare at you, Crispin, for a long moment. And she is going to once again go back to that moment where you hid in a closet from your parents, sat on a phone call with her, and talked her through her fear and allowed her to fall asleep. And she is going to cling desperately onto that moment because she knows what you can be. And she is going to take such a shaky breath. Since the spring, I have feared for my life every single day. My life, and this is not a figure of speech, Crispin, I am not exaggerating. I am talking about real, legitimate life or death. My life has been in danger every single day. So I am sorry that I have not been a better friend to you. I am sorry that there was not more that I could do with your living situation, with your dad, with your... And she really struggles here not to call it a cult. And you can watch that struggle on her face. And she will nearly choke out the word church. And I am sorry that because of that, I ruined what was supposed to be a very special night for you. But none of it was on purpose. None of it was supposed to harm you at all. Everything that I have done has been to try and keep you safe from me and my world.
Saline, can you give me a shut someone down?
Oh. Nope. It's gonna be a 5.
No.
Damn.
Crispin will let that hang in the air for a moment as he considers her and sort of nods to himself. That's a lot, Saline. I had no idea you were experiencing so much. The real irony is I've also been trying to save you from myself and my life. It seems that we are two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways. I know I can't give you a tangible explanation for why you should trust me. But please, let me help you. Let's work together to fix everything, to keep you safe, to make things good again. Don't you miss that? I do.
What is your body language like? Where are your hands?
I am leaning so far over the table. like leaned so far in. I think at this point he knows better than to try to grab your hands, but his hands are laying open on the table as if waiting for you to take them. So earnest, like so invested.
As I said, she is pushed, like rigid in her seat. At the emotional outburst, she kind of deflated. And then with your, what seems to be genuine admission, she will lean forward and very tentatively place one of her hands in your own. And she will take a breath and ask, when I told you what I am, when we fought about it, you said that you loved me. Is any of that still there?
When you put your hand in his, Crispin's shoulders visibly drop. He visibly relaxes. He doesn't go to squeeze your hand or cover it. He is holding on loosely, as the old rock song tells you to do. I don't think there is ever a past tense of love. I would sell my soul to keep you safe. I know I have not always been the most predictable, but please know that behind everything I do, your health and happiness are my primary motivations. Please tell me what's hunting you.
Her grip on your hand will tighten. She's definitely clutching your hand as if you are her lifeline. And she will nod slowly and just, okay. I want things to be better between us. And trust is a two-way street. But if I tell you, you hope to be honest with me too. I am here for you, and I need to know if you're struggling, or if something or someone is hurting you or using you. I can help. And she will tell him about her hunter.
Does she tell Crispin about the thing with Marina, or at the very least about, functionally we know them as like strings and the hunter pulls them too.
Yeah.
Does she explain the idea of diluting her scent to attract the hunter somewhere else?
I'm trying to decide if she would reveal that now. How many days ago was the thing with Marina?
Like 3 days ago?
So it's still fresh, very fresh.
Is Marina still alive?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then yeah, she'll kind of explain that her father's right-hand woman, commander, general person, essentially told her that it was really the only way to keep herself safe when she can't outrun it. And people have gotten hurt because of her, and she feels guilty about that, but she didn't know that she would hurt people at first. And she's very wrapped up in it now and doesn't really know what to do. But yeah, she'll tell you about the diluting scent. She won't come out and say that, like, she's the reason that Jacob is dead, but she'll allude to it. She's clearly eaten up with guilt about it, and she'll allude that she may have put someone else in danger, and she's fearing for them as well.
As this story comes out of Saline, Crispin will slowly, gently move closer, eventually shifting out of his side of the booth into hers, offering little touches, a squeeze of the hand, active listening, nodding, and making interested noises. And he will let the whole story come out. And when she finishes, he will squeeze her hands and say, "Thank you for sharing that with me. You were worried that if we got too close, this monster he emphasizes the word and its irony in this context, would come after me.
The last thing I want to do is hurt you.
And the first thing I want to do is rip it limb from limb. Saline, when you're ready, I hope you will trust me to take on that mantle for you. You don't need to protect me from this thing. Let me protect you.
He will whisper a very tentative, "Okay." And she will lean up and kiss your cheek.
I will put my arm around Celine's shoulders and lean my head on top of hers and grab my plate from across the table and just eat in silence and cuddled up together and let myself enjoy 10 minutes of peace.
Saline will do the same.
Love it. Dr. Miller surreptitiously glances at her watch, pretending to write notes as the patient drones on about some anxiety or other. An important appointment is due in mere minutes, and she needs this mortal to leave. She flips through her mental book of tricks, developed over centuries, and settles on something that is simple yet effective. Weston, from what you've expressed, these feelings of insecurity and shyness have not improved. The doctor's face shifts slightly, adding a note of empathy. So I'm going to give you an exercise. It will help you to build up your courage and develop your self-assurity. The young man nods while his hands ring each other. Weston has not an ounce of courage in his body, but instilling a sense of outrage will be the next best thing. Once a day, I want you to engage someone you feel safe with in an argument. It can be about anything, be it as big as world politics, or as little as what restaurant you want to go to. In this argument, pick a side and stick to it. No matter how the other person tries to convince you otherwise, defend your position. Know that you are in the right. Further, do not tell anyone that it is an exercise, or they'll undermine your results. I guarantee you will find this exercise exposes a side of you that you have never seen before. Before Weston can ask follow-up questions, Dr. Miller has declared the end of the session and ushered him out. I'm next, Dr. Miller. The sweetly sinister voice of Sarah Paisley catches the doctor's attention. Weston is also enraptured by the teenage influencer, but who wouldn't be? Even without the supernatural enhancement, Sarah has an uncanny charm that hooks into any mortal's desires and lures them in with empty promises of fulfilling them. Deborah will take care of your billing, Dr. Miller says pointedly, urging Weston to leave while eyeing the girl with unmasked irritation, which is further inflamed when Sarah wiggles her fingers and winks suggestively in Weston's direction. Much to Dr. Miller's relief, the boy's self-esteem issues trigger, and he bolts from the waiting room. Now that you're done playing, the doctor stands aside and watches Sarah stride past. Where is Famine? Sarah asks as she gracefully settles herself onto Dr. Miller's desk. You know by now that I arrive on my own time, a soft voice responds. Another teen girl stands in the doorway, this one on the opposite end of the spectrum of Pestilence's champion. Barbara, Famine's chosen, is gangly and looks like she had drowned, which wasn't too far from the truth, so the doctor had been told. Where's your champion, War? After a millennia of camaraderie through competition, Dr. Miller can hear the T's in Famine's monotone. Not wanting to admit that she does not fully trust that she has Crispin's full loyalty, War makes a strategic excuse. He is winning over the Fey girl as we planned. Once he has given her devotion to him, he will exploit it to make her open the portal. Sarah frowns, looking up from her phone. I thought he was going to use Ella. I was already working on the subtly threatening posts that I'm sure would send Saline over the fucking insanity cliff. Crispin has decided to take a more direct approach. Since I have empowered him to find his own solution to our problem, I will not intervene unless he fails me, War says, pouring confidence into her words to cover over the uncertainty that her champion is creating. He'll still be there tonight, though, right? Sarah asks. We won't go viral without his special little power. There is no reason to think that he won't be there as promised, War said indignantly. So don't worry. You'll have our support. Yeah? What about famine support? Sarah asks pointedly toward Barbara. Breaking up their little group and isolating Saline is a key to our win. The only movement from Barbara is her eyes flickering between them, until one corner of her mouth quirks in a deceptively sly smirk. I have my own plans in motion, just in case your attempts are unsuccessful. Call it our Plan V. Plan V? Sarah scoffs. That doesn't even make sense. And you're supposed to be helping? We can't do everything while you creep around spooking people for no reason. Master Pest told me you all became besties after the last time you were here. Made some pinky swears or something to work together the next chance you got. I haven't seen a lot of cooperation since this whole thing started. Maybe I'll just get Saline to undo this portal thing on my own. Her sister is totally devoted to me. Shouldn't be too hard. So naive. Pestilence needs to choose his champions more wisely, Famine retorts. Where is our dear friend anyway? He said something about a deal he made to handle some politicians run for president. Sarah glares at Barbara. That means he left me in charge. So fuck you. I'm not naive. You are not in charge of anything except what I say you are. War's anger has boiled over, her eyes flashing red. Sarah's perfectly pink skin flushes white under War's glare. You are nothing but a favored pet to gods. And if you ever express such disrespect for your betters again, I will twist that little brain of yours so tightly that you will spend the rest of your mortal life drooling in front of that screen you love so much. Do you understand? Sarah gulps and nods mutely. Good. Now, go play your little games, and we'll handle the bigger picture. Sarah hurries from the room, feigning indignance to hide the smell of fear as War stares her down. Closing the door behind her, War takes a moment to rein in her agitation. Pestilence may be on to the bigger game, Barbara suggests. Why are we so worried about this portal when we can conquer the mortals ourselves? We have been playing this game for millennia, and we know by now that mortals are wholly unreliable. Opening that rift will bring greater forces to our disposal, powers that no mortal army could defeat. And with their guardian removed from the field, they will be defenseless. Your idea on how to entrap death was a masterstroke. A glint of pride lightens in Famine's silvered eyes. It is my pleasure to contribute to our success. It would have been jeopardized if Death's agent hadn't sacrificed himself in the attempt to defeat your hound. Yes, well, the loss only made my pet stronger. Dr. Miller glances at her watch. We should adjourn this meeting. The end is almost within our grasp. All Our Faults is a Tabletop Talespinners Network production. Our thanks to TTN's wonderful director, Emma Kocar. Our cast includes Abby Marie Carter as Saline and Kat Kelly as Crispin. I have been your producer, MC, and hostess, Mistress Winter. If you want to drop us a line, our social handles are in the show notes. When your hearts are feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, just know that you are not alone. There are other heavy hearts that can help carry the burden of our shared lives. See you next time. This has been a tale from the Tabletop Talespinners Network.